Hey everyone, it's Christy. Welcome back to Her Final Word. You know, they say small towns have small minds, but sometimes the elite, gated communities with the manicured lawns and the highest-rated public schools hide the absolute ugliest venom. I often wonder if malice has a specific zip code, or if it just breeds wherever people have too much time and too much money on their hands. Before we dive into today's story, do me a quick favor, drop your city or town in the comments below. I genuinely want to see where in the world my community is watching from, and if this kind of toxic behavior is happening in your neighborhood too. Today's letter was sent to me by a woman named Maya. Maya is 58 years old, a self-made entrepreneur, and a mother who found herself in the crosshairs of an entire school board determined to ruin her family. But Maya didn't break. She played the long game. Make sure you stick around until the very end, because right after Maya's jaw-dropping finale, I'm going to share 3 brutal but highly effective psychological strategies on how to completely neutralize people who spread rumors about you, and how to turn their own weapons against them. Trust me, you'll want to take notes on this one. Now, let's hear from Maya. Go ahead, Chloe. Tell them how my daughter is a criminal. Tell the whole room how she doesn't belong here. But before Mr. Harrison calls the police, let's make sure they know exactly who they should be arresting. Turn around, ladies. Look at the screen. I never wanted to be a part of their little country club circle. At 58, I've lived enough life to know that when a group of wealthy, underemployed women form a clique, nothing good comes of it. I raised my daughter Lily on my own while building my own security and private investigation firm from scratch. It wasn't easy, but we made it. When Lily got a scholarship to the prestigious Oakwood Academy, I thought it was a blessing. I was wrong. My first mistake was refusing to join the Oakwood Elite WhatsApp group chat. My second mistake was ignoring Chloe. Chloe was the undisputed queen bee of the Parent-Teacher Association. She was 42, wore tennis skirts like a uniform, and treated the school like her personal fiefdom. The very first week, she cornered me in the parking lot holding a clipboard. "Maya, darling," she had said, her smile not reaching her eyes, "wager collecting the annual class enrichment contribution. It's $3,000 per family. We're upgrading the lacrosse lounge." I looked at the clipboard, then at her. "Lily doesn't play lacrosse, Chloe, and as far as I know, the school's mandatory fees are already paid. I'll pass." Chloe's smile vanished, replaced by a cold, tight smirk. "Oh, I see. I forgot. You're on the assisted tuition track. Well, I suppose we can't all contribute equally to our children's future, can we? Don't worry, the rest of us will carry the weight." From that day on, I was a ghost to them. They would stand in tight circles during drop-off, whispering and laughing as I walked past. I didn't care. I didn't need their validation. But what I failed to realize was that women like Chloe don't just accept a rejection, they punish it. And since she couldn't hurt my bank account, she decided to target my daughter. It started small. A look, a cold shoulder. Then, the silence. Lily came home one Tuesday afternoon, her eyes red, throwing her backpack onto the kitchen island. "Mom, did you say something to Sarah's mom?" she asked, her voice trembling. "No, sweetheart. Why?" "Sarah blocked me today. And at lunch, when I sat down at our usual table, the whole group stood up and walked away. They said they didn't want to get infected." My stomach tightened. I knew exactly where this was coming from. I told Lily to keep her head high, believing that if we didn't feed the drama, it would starve. But a rumor is a living thing, and Chloe was about to feed it a feast. The rumor mutated into something terrifying within 2 weeks. It wasn't just that we were poor anymore. Now we were dangerous. It began when a girl named Bella, who happened to be Chloe's niece, claimed her brand new iPhone 15 Pro Max had disappeared from her gym locker. The next day, another boy from Chloe's inner circle claimed his AirPods Max were missing. And then, the whispers found a target, Lily. I was called into the school by Mr. Harrison, the principal. He was a man who terrified himself of his own shadow, especially when that shadow belonged to wealthy donors like Chloe's husband. "Maya, thank you for coming," Mr. Harrison said, clearing his throat and avoiding eye contact. "We have a bit of a delicate situation. Several high-value items have gone missing from the sophomore locker room, and, well, several parents have brought forward concerns." "Concerns about what, Mr. Harrison?" I asked, my voice steady, my posture rigid. "About Lily? It appears she was seen near the lockers during the periods the items vanished. Given her unique financial circumstances here at the academy, some mothers are worried she might be acting out due to peer pressure." "Unique financial circumstances?" I laughed, a cold, sharp sound. "You mean because I didn't pay for a lacrosse lounge? Who brought these accusations, Mr. Harrison? Give me names." "I'm not at liberty to disclose that, Maya. But for now, we aren't suspending Lily. We are just monitoring her. However, I strongly advise you to speak with her." When I left that office, the hallway was empty except for Chloe, who was standing by the display cases, pretending to look at trophies. As I walked past, she didn't look away. "It's a shame, isn't it?" Chloe murmured, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. "Some kids just aren't built for a high society environment. The temptation to have what they can't afford, it ruins them." "If I were you, Maya, I'd pull her out before it gets public. A criminal record ruins college applications." "Be very careful, Chloe," I whispered, stepping close enough to see the cracks in her foundation makeup. "You're playing a game you don't understand." She laughed, a high-pitched, mocking sound. "Oh, Maya, look around you. This is my school. Nobody is going to believe a bitter, single old woman over me." The next week was hell. The rumors were no longer whispers. They were shouted. Lily's locker was defaced with the word thief, written in permanent marker. When she walked into class, people openly hid their bags. The cyberbullying started, and anonymous accounts posting TikToks mocking her clothes, her life, and calling her a gutter rat. Lily refused to eat. She sat in her room, staring at the wall. "Mom, I didn't do it. I swear I didn't take anything," she sobbed. "I know you didn't, baby," I said, holding her close. "And I promise you, the people who did this are going to pay. Every single one of them." As the owner of a premier commercial security firm, I knew how people operated. I knew that bullies always get sloppy because they think they are untouchable. Over the weekend, under the guise of an annual system maintenance contract that my firm actually handled pro bono for the school's old security tech years ago, I visited the campus. I knew the blind spots of the school's official cameras, and I knew exactly where to place my own high-definition pinhole wireless cameras. I hid them in the sophomore common area and near the locker entrances. Completely legal under my firm's existing diagnostic access, but entirely hidden from the school board's view. I waited. I knew Chloe wouldn't stop at just whispers. She wanted a public execution. She wanted me gone, and she wanted Lily ruined to prove her absolute dominance. On Friday morning, the bait was taken. A prominent parent noticed her diamond tennis bracelet was missing from her bag after a PTA volunteer meeting in the common room. Within an hour, my phone rang. It was an automated emergency broadcast from the school. Emergency mandatory parent. Teacher Association meeting. Friday evening, 6:30 p.m. Attendance mandatory for all sophomore parents regarding student conduct and campus safety. I pulled up my remote server on my laptop. I downloaded the footage from the last 24 hours. As I watched the playback, a cold smile spread across my face. "You wanted a show, Chloe," I whispered to the empty room. "I am going to give you a masterpiece." The auditorium was suffocatingly hot. Over 100 parents sat in the rows, their voices creating a low, angry hum. When I walked in, alone, wearing a sharp gray pantsuit, the room fell dead silent. 100 pairs of eyes judged me, blamed me, pitied me. I walked straight to the back row and stood against the wall. I didn't sit down. Mr. Harrison tapped the microphone, the feedback screeching through the room. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice," he began, sweating through his collar. "As you know, Oakwood Academy prides itself on integrity. Unfortunately, a series of thefts has compromised our community. We are here to discuss immediate disciplinary measures and policy adjustments." Before he could finish, Chloe stood up from the front row. She didn't wait to be called on. She turned around to face the audience, her face a mask of righteous indignation. "Let's not beat around the bush, Mr. Harrison," Chloe projected her voice so it echoed. "We all know why we are here. We don't need policy adjustments. We need removal. Our children are being targeted by a delinquent. A girl who clearly brought the habits of whatever run-down apartment she came from into our sacred halls." A murmur of agreement ran through the crowd. "Chloe," Mr. Harrison pleaded weakly, "we don't have definitive proof from the administration yet. We have circumstantial proof," Chloe snapped, turning her glare directly toward me at the back of the room. "Lily was seen there every time. And just today, Mrs. Vance's diamond bracelet went missing. I demand that Lily's locker be searched publicly right now, and when the stolen goods are found, she must be expelled and handed over to the police. We will not let one bad apple spoil our children's environment." People began nodding, shouting in agreement. "Expel her!" someone yelled. I looked at Chloe. She was glowing, drunk on her own power, staring at me with a look of pure, unadulterated triumph. She thought she had won. She thought I was going to cry, beg, or run out of the room. Instead, I took a deep breath, walked down the center aisle, and took the steps up to the stage. Mr. Harrison tried to stop me. "Maya, please, this isn't the forum." "Sit down, Harrison," I said, my voice cutting through his anxiety like a knife. I spoke into the microphone, my tone deadly calm, carrying an authority that instantly silenced the entire auditorium. "You all want to talk about integrity?" I said, looking out at the crowd. "You want to talk about criminals destroying your children's environment? You've spent 3 weeks dragging my daughter's name through the mud. You've called her a thief. You've let your children terrorize her. And you did it all based on the word of one woman." "Because it's the truth," Chloe yelled from her seat, her face reddening. "You're defensive because you're guilty." "Let's look at the truth then, shall we?" I replied. I tapped the space bar on the laptop. The massive projector screen behind me flickered, displaying a crystal-clear, high-definition video feed. The timestamp showed yesterday afternoon, 3:04 p.m. The video showed the sophomore locker room entrance. The hallway was empty. Then, a boy walked into the frame. It was Chloe's 16-year-old son, Julian. He looked around nervously, opened his own jacket, and pulled out a high-end set of AirPods, Max, and a gold iPhone. He walked over to Lily's locker, which was slightly warped at the top, and skillfully slid the items through the vent opening into her locker. The auditorium went completely, terrifyingly silent. You could hear a pin drop. "Oh, look," I said into the microphone, my voice dripping with icy sarcasm. "There's the thief, Julian. This is fake. It's a deep fake," Chloe shrieked, standing up, her hands trembling violently. "My son would never." "Quiet, Chloe. The show isn't over yet," I commanded. I hit play on the next clip. This one was from the sophomore common area, filmed just 4 hours ago. The camera angle was perfectly positioned above a vending machine. It showed Chloe herself sitting at a bench. She opened her purse, pulled out a glittering diamond tennis bracelet, and handed it to her son. The audio was shockingly clear. "Take this," Chloe's voice boomed through the auditorium speakers. "Put it in the side pocket of Lily's backpack during the assembly. Make sure someone sees you find it later. Way ending this tonight." Julian took the bracelet, looking terrified. "Mom, what if we get caught?" The school cameras don't work in that corner, you idiot," I checked with the board. "Just do it. That little bitch and her mother need to learn their place." The video stopped. The screen went black. The silence in that room was absolute. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The parents who had been shouting for my daughter's expulsion just moments ago were now staring at Chloe with utter horror and disgust. Chloe looked around the room, desperate, looking for an ally. Every single mother who had been part of her circle looked away, completely abandoning her. Mr. Harrison looked like he was about to faint. "Chloe, we will need to have a serious discussion with the board and law enforcement regarding filing a false police report and defamation," he stammered. I walked to the edge of the stage, holding the microphone, looking directly at Chloe. "You thought because I was a single mother, because I didn't care about your pathetic little high society games, that I was weak," I said, my voice echoing off the walls. "But I spent 30 years building a business that tracks down people exactly like you. You used your own son to commit a felony just to satisfy your pathetic, insecure ego." Chloe burst into tears, covering her face with her hands, but nobody comforted her. Her reputation, her social standing, her perfect little life destroyed in exactly 3 minutes. "My lawyers have already drafted the paperwork," I concluded, turning my gaze to the rest of the room. "A civil lawsuit for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and harassment will be served to Chloe and to the parents of every single student who participated in the cyberbullying of my daughter by Monday morning. Have your attorneys ready, ladies, because I am not settling out of court." I dropped the microphone. The heavy thud resonated through the speakers. I walked down the steps, down the center aisle, and out of the school without looking back. Lily and I left Oakwood Academy that very week. We found a school that actually values character over bank accounts. As for Chloe, her husband filed for divorce 2 months later to save his own corporate reputation, her son was placed on juvenile probation, and she ended up selling her massive mansion to pay off her legal fees. They tried to make my daughter a pariah, but in the end, they built their own prison. Wow. Just wow. Maya, if you are watching this, I want to say you are an absolute queen. The level of restraint it took to wait for that exact moment to drop the hammer is legendary. Chloe is the perfect example of a deeply insecure bully who uses social status as a weapon because she has absolutely nothing of real value inside her. She was willing to corrupt her own son just to satisfy a grudge against a woman who simply refused to bow down to her. It's sickening, but honestly, seeing her completely exposed in front of the very community she tried to rule, that is the ultimate chef's kiss poetic justice. If you are going through something similar right now, if people are whispering behind your back or trying to destroy your name, here are 3 psychological strategies to completely shut them down. Strategy 1, starve the flame, record the ash. Bullies and rumor mongers feed on your immediate emotional reaction. They want you to scream, cry, or defend yourself because it makes you look guilty or unstable. Do what Maya did initially. Maintain absolute composure in public, but start documenting everything behind the scenes. Silence isn't weakness, it's data collection. Strategy 2, the gravedigger's technique. When someone spreads a lie about you, don't waste energy trying to convince people they are wrong. Instead, let the liar keep talking. Ask them open-ended, calm questions in front of others like, "Oh, that's interesting. Where exactly did you hear that?" A liar will always over-fabricate details to make their story believable, and the more details they invent, the easier it is to trap them in their own contradictions later. Strategy 3. Devalue the source. A rumor only has power if you value the opinion of the person speaking it or the people listening to it. When you show the world that the bully's opinion means absolutely zero to you, you strip them of their social currency. If people see that their whispers cannot rattle your peace, the crowd eventually turns on the bully out of sheer boredom. Now, I want to turn this over to you guys. If you were in Maya's shoes, would you have waited for the big public meeting to expose Chloe, or would you have handled it privately with the police right away? And honestly, do you think a lawsuit against the other parents who joined in on the bullying was justified, or did they just get caught up in Chloe's web? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Below, I read every single one of them. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Her Final Word, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another story of ultimate reckoning. Until next time, keep your head high and let your truth have the final word. Bye.